Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you can all hear me with the microphone on. It's my pleasure to welcome you to our third Patient Information Day. We've really enjoyed the previous Patient Information Days, and what we've really tried to do is try and learn each time about what people want. So we do have some questionnaires at the end of this, and I'd be very grateful if you could fill them in, because we're trying to actually produce things that people are actually requesting on the kind of questionnaires. The other thing to say is that we're actually videoing this. One of the points that has been made on several questionnaires is the point that that people want to see this again, they want to have the opportunity to review the informational. Unfortunately, some people just can't make it here. So we are videoing it. We're videoing those of us that are presenting and obviously the pictures as well. We're not videoing you, so there's no problems with there's no problem with confidentiality, right? So it's just, we're just hopefully going to be able to put some of this actually on the web. And one of the things that we're going to talk a little bit about will be a little bit about a website that we're developing. So the idea is that people will be able to access this information again. So what's the purpose of the meeting? Well, the purpose of the meeting is really for you, very much as it has always been, is the idea is of these Patient Information Days is really just to provide more information for you, more helpful advice, opportunities to meet other people, to meet those of us that are involved in the care of patients with mitochondrial disease, and actually some of the young people that are actually involved in doing research into mitochondrial disease. Again, we're very, very keen to do research because we need to keep improving the way in which we make the diagnosis and we help patients. It's actually sometimes, and maybe I haven't really appreciated this, is that some people find it really helpful to meet other patients who've got mitochondrial problems. I mean, I hope that is something that you can do, or people who have shared experiences. Gradually nowadays we are getting more so that people actually communicate with each other. It is quite difficult for patients with mitochondrial problems to find other people that have actually got similar sorts of problems. And that's one of the opportunities that we have here. So what are we going to do? What's the format of this meeting? Well, we're going to say something about the investigations that you all have, because I think that's one of the things that people often wonder, well, why do I need this test? So my colleague, Dr. Andrew Schaefer, is going to say something about that. Sue Clark, who is a speech and language therapist, is going to say something about the speech and swallowing therapy. And then Dr. McFarland, who is a pediatric neurologist but works closely with me and the rest of the team, is going to say something about some of the studies that are ongoing in terms of research, just simply so that I know that a lot of you get questionnaires. It just gives you a bit of an idea about why we're doing so many different studies. Then we're going to break and have a cup of tea and a sandwich, rather like we did last time. I would stress that we've spent a little bit of time actually putting together certain tables for people to maybe go and see. So on the room opposite there's going to be somebody involved with the exercise studies, and I know that quite a few of you have been involved in the exercise studies. And we hope that this will be something that you can actually see what's involved. Some of you have been involved in the armband study, and there's some information about that. There's also the team from the Muscular Dystrophy campaign here. They actually fund a lot of the research, and they are a patient-based organisation that you may well want to go and talk to. There is, again, as last year, the Welfare Rights have very kindly come along. Rosemary from Welfare Rights very kindly come along. There's also something that we're giving details of some of the previous studies that we've already been involved in. Something about the website, which we'll talk to you about, and there's an advice table over in the corner. So at tea, I hope that you will take the opportunity to look round and just catch up on what you find particularly interesting. After after tea, we've got Rosemary's very kindly from Welfare Rights actually agreed to talk about welfare rights issues. Grania Gorman, who's there, is very kindly come along. That's a picture of her newborn baby. Grania's about 3 weeks postpartum, so we're very grateful that she's agreed to come along and talk. And she's going to talk about fatigue in patients with mitochondrial problems. Again, a very common symptom that we've wanted to explore a little bit more about. And then if we've got time, we'll just have a chat with Anja and Jane about the role of physiotherapists and nurse within the mitochondrial service. So, as last time, I thought I'd just give a little bit of introduction about mitochondria and mitochondrial diseases. This is just very simple. Basically, for people that didn't make it last time, I just want to just add a little bit of information just to give people a bit of background. And I know and I appreciate this is very basic. So, the question that's often asked is about what are mitochondria, what are mitochondrial diseases? And probably the simplest thing is if you think about people from my generation, is thinking of a transistor radio. For the younger generation, it's better to think maybe of an iPod. Very clever bits of machinery, but simply, if you don't have any batteries in, then those bits of machinery won't work.